Yo, 28 millimeter RPG, Rick here. Um, I'm just letting you know I've recorded a video, which won't be released until much later. It's just basically going over all my notes that I have on my notebook here, and I've got all I did a video on my setup for the Traveler game, which is going to be coming up tomorrow. And so I just wanted to give you an insight on some of the prep and everything. And so you can, when I release the video that I just recorded, you'll see what I had prepped, and you can, understand where my mindset is and how the players have changed things in the game, and what I had kind of, written out, and how things actually went. So I'm not going to go ahead and spoil anything, but like I say, it's just basically one piece of paper, like that, that is it. So it's it for my notes. And go from there. One thing I want to talk about, I seen a couple of videos pop up here about players. And what kind of players I'm looking for when I have a game. Keep in mind, my current lineup includes Spencer and Josh, and Gordo as well. We've also had Dave on as well, and I've had Shadow from Shadow and Son also on here. And those have been the only people that you've seen me on this channel that I've had as players. So there's been other players that I have in town here, like Maxwell, Braden, and see, my son Calias also played in a game with us, and same with Tristan. Tristan played, which was also Spencer's son. So brain fart. I've had a long day, work, and then I did a video, and now I'm doing this. So if I had ideal players, the players I would be looking for is it would have to have at least a couple guys in the group that were proactive. I need a couple of proactive players that have ideas and have no problem taking their character and saying, I want to do this, or just blurting out, just try something. They don't it's not they don't have to like blurt out stuff that is like totally the most fantastical kind of ideas to remedy the situation at hand. They just have to try things. Let's poke at this thing. Let's see what it does, right? See if it works. Like, you never know what if you poke something might work. It might function. It might misfunction, which is even just more fun, and does interesting things. But you need players in there that are able to do that, to be the doers. They're like, okay, we're here to do something. We're not here to sit in the background and just be lumps on the log. We're not here to be NPCs. I have enough NPCs. I do my own NPCs. I don't need more NPCs. Now, some of my players, like I say, are new. So Josh is a new player. He's learning things. He hasn't been, he's basically, he learned role-playing game by watching other people on YouTube and coming to my house and actually playing Castles and Crusades with me, with a group of players. And and he got acquainted that way. So it's a totally new thing to him, and he's, you know, he likes to have time to analyze something before he says something. But I said, as you get used to being put on kind of the spot, you just you might want to kind of consider thinking of things that like characters in movies would have done in that kind of a situation. You've seen plenty of movies, and why not just take the initiative from one of the characters in a movie that they do in the movie, and just do that, or um, if you can't think of anything, or start a conversation. Start talking to the other players. Ask them what they think. That might help too. You don't have to be alone in your decision if you have time to do that. In a combat situation, you're pretty much fighting for your life. So when it comes to any character, they're going to be, trying everything to survive, anyways. So there's not much. I mean, you could think of things. You could think, oh, I could use something in the room. I can grab this jar and throw it, and bang, and hopefully knock them out or whatever. You may not think on top, like that, using your environment. But some do, right? Spurious on the moment. They might think of all the things that all the little pointers you've given them throughout the describing the scene, and they might be thinking, "Oh, I could grab that. I could use this." That's what they should be doing. Is when you're describing stuff, is thinking, "Hey, Rick's throwing us a kind of a bunch of stuff here. It may come in useful later on or something like that." So start thinking ahead of time. Hey, this may come in useful. So, but I've always been kind of like that kind of a guy. I've seen something and going, I could use that for something else, and thinking that in those kind of three-dimensional ways. Players also must be, like I say, not NPCs. So they all should be kind of proactive, wanting to go through the situation, and not wanting to hold back and hide away or run away from everything. Not unless it is a character that's not supposed to be in a dangerous situation. You could have the scientist guy that's kind of weak and scrawny, shy away from situations where he's out in the open, but still doing something that they can do. They're always looking at their uh, analyzing what their character can do according to their character sheet, what kind of skills they have, and they keep to those skills. They know that they can do this thing and that thing, and so why not apply it to whatever it is that situation that they're in. So just as long as they are doing something, they're not just I'm just following or whatever. Um, I want players to break out of that kind of routine, and I'm willing to take on players that start off like that, but I want to turn them into actual proactive players. That's the thing. I don't want everybody. I want them to have a chance to do those things, and to realize that they can do those things. Um, and I don't want players to be playing uh really bizarro weird stuff that you know I got my games aren't usually wired that way. So I'm usually playing, a human centric kind of, sci-fi kind of thing where everybody can relate to being a human. So um I mean, but I'm okay, with playing the fantasy, having players play the fantasy characters, and just uh, ad libbing it as well, kind of like they are with God Forsaken. Like they have ideas on how they want to portray their characters in that, and I have no ideas what they're going to be doing. I've never like prompted them saying, "So how are you going to play this character?" And well, give me some pointers on what to expect from you. I didn't even do that. I just wanted to be pleasantly surprised as much as you guys were when the situation happened at hand. So, um, what else? Um, yeah, just players being proactive. That's basically it. I don't want to see something like Miss Magitech's Cyberpunk there, where they're all, you know, basically she was almost pleading with them to go ahead and do things like rescue the girl, or do the thing. Why are you guys not doing the thing? It was just heartbreaking to watch that. It's like you've got the wrong players. These are these players just want to be NPCs, and that's a weird thing. Is a lot of these D&D games now are starting to end up being like that. They just want you to be NPCs. They don't want you to be heroes. They just want you to kind of sit back and learn how to bake stuff and find the ingredients. We're gonna be foodies, all your backstory, yeah, that's all you need to be. You don't need to do anything more. You already know that you're this great number one person, and you're the coolest and everything. And why should you do anything more than that? And that's a shame, because my idea of role playing is taking an idea for a character and then putting them through a situation, put them through a stress test, put them through something that's unusual, and having the player uh, portray that character going through that situation and working it out. Do they get out alive? Do they fall? Do they what's going to happen? That's the interesting thing. So that's the way my games turn out. Um, and it's something not everybody is used to or wanting to maybe do or whatever. I mean, I always want to play my games like, as a game master. I want them to be interesting scenarios that players go through, and they could be playing the mundane uh whatever. It could be like what was the name of the movie? Was it Collateral? Uh you know, Vincent is a hitman, and he's out to do a bunch of jobs, so he's got to find some lackey that he's and it's the taxi driver, uh, which is played by who the heck? Anyways, I had a discussion about this already. I already forgot his name, uh, but anyways, the taxi driver is just an ordinary, everyday, average guy who just has a wife at home and a girlfriend at home, and he's just trying to get through his day, just doing his job. And then suddenly he's in this situation where he's basically forced to drive this assassin around to do his job, and the assassin has a certain amount of hits he's got to do, and all of a sudden, this ordinary, average, everyday guy is put in a situation where he's got to cope with it. Does it come out alive? You watch the movie and watch that and find out if he survives or not. It's one of the best movies that I think that you as a game master watch, and that your players should understand the psychology behind that whole thing. That their players can be just this average everyday Joe, but given the situation, do they pop out of their rut and turn into a hero? Do they do the thing that they need to do in order to stop this evil bad Vincent guy from killing everybody in sight, and then eventually killing him if that was the case, because he figures out, yeah, there was a cab drivers were killed before, and this could be this is a situation where he's read this before, so he knows his life is in danger. Whether or not he wants to survive it or not, that's up to the character. Now, players in that kind of situation, that's the same thing. You put them in a situation, you're in a dangerous dungeon, blah, 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 and you must survive it. You don't NPC your way through it. You must survive it. You gotta, there's going to be some action. There's going to be blood. There's going to be, tears, sweat, all that stuff. It's just going to be, it's going to be an adventure that turns the player character into something different. It's a big character arc kind of thing. And they survive the whole thing. Yay, they make it out, and they're going to feel so much, euphoria because they made it, even though they were just an average torchbearer or whatever. You could do that. It's an exciting game, and now they go from torchbearer to becoming something better. They're gonna learn that, yeah, they could use that little pokey thing. They know how to use a knife, dagger now, and they can do things. So that's my take on that. Players need to be proactive. They might watch movie Collateral. Like I say, it's good. It gives you so much insight on a psychology of a character and what you should be doing as a player, in the case of the taxi driver and that. That's what your game master is trying to put you through is, it's a stress test. It's something different. It's not what you're doing every day, and just play along, have fun with it. You're not going to get killed in the end, like, as a person. It's your character that could end up, getting, the bad end of the stick, but, you play it through, you see what happens. You never know. You could end up surviving. Maybe Vincent will go ahead and be merciful to you for once or something. You never know. It's whatever. So many things that you could do in that situation, not just what Kevin Hart did in it, you could, maybe you might try to, negotiate your way out. You might try to get an upper hand somehow in some sort of way, who knows? It's just an interesting situation, and you just go through it. And yeah, that's, players should be aware of that, and to make it worthwhile. That's the fun thing about this kind of gaming. You want it to be worthwhile. You don't want to have a boring, dragged out, discussion about game mechanics all the way through it. Yeah, that sucks. So that's my take. Anyways, if you like what you see and you think it's worth subscribing to, just do it. Subscribe, I tell you. You must do it. Hit that button. I appreciate all of you. Just listen to me.